For the All-Star break, the Lakers fell to the lowly Jazz in a one-sided affair last night. The loss snapped LA's six-game win streak as they head into the break with a 32-20 record. Here is Luka postgame on the state of his new squad.
I think we can go very far. Obviously, today I felt a little bit rusty. 2 games in after my injury, turnovers, missed free throws. So I got to do way better. But now I think we're approaching this break, so we got to rest. For me, I think it's more mental rest than anything else. But still got to work. So I'm excited about this break, and I can't wait to go back to play.
All right, let's level set expectations a little bit, okay? The 1 seed's probably out of reach with OKC having a pretty commanding 8-game lead. After that, though, it's pretty tight in the West. 5th-seeded Lakers only 3 games behind the 2nd-seeded Grizzlies. According to ESPN Analytics, the Lakers have a 20% chance to finish as the 2nd seed. So, Stephen A., what is the Lakers' ceiling now that Luka's calling it home?
Well, to me, I don't view the Lakers as being a team that's going to get out of the second round. They might not get out of the first round as of yet, but it's not because of Luka and LeBron. It's because of the personnel around them. They just don't have the size. You had Jackson Hayes. He goes down last night, and who was it? Wendy out there, Alex Lynn. Is that who they play? Is that who they?
Yeah, he's been on their team for 24 hours. Yeah.
Exactly. So we see what we see, and then when you think about the greatness of Jokic, and you see the size on Denver, when you see that Chet Holmgren is back and Isaiah Hartenstein is going to be there as well. When you look at teams like that, Memphis and some of the size it has, etc., that's going to be an impediment to the success of the Los Angeles Lakers, not to mention they're not the greatest defensive team in the world to begin with. And so you take all of those things into consideration, and then you consider the game, of the postseason game, Wendy knows this as well. It slows. The game slows down, and size matters more in the postseason than it does in the regular season, because the game slows at that particular moment in time, and you're able to utilize that to your advantage more so than you even think about doing in the regular season. And not only that, you get to ISO on a particular team for a best of 7 series. All of those things don't bode well for the Los Angeles Lakers. But again, it's not because of Luka. It's not because of LeBron. It's because of the absence of pieces around them. I'm going to throw Austin Reeves in there as well. Not because of him, because I love the way he's playing. And I love the way J.J. Redick is coaching. And Rui Hachimura is going to be important because he was somebody that you could put out there defensively, and he could do some things for you as well. But that size, deficiency, the lack of prowess on the interior, I think ultimately is going to compromise the success of the Los Angeles Lakers. And that's why I don't see their ceiling being very high at all.
Hell, I'm very bullish on the Lakers in the playoffs in 2026. I am giving them a free roll this year. And I know that that's not the popular thing to say, because you're like, oh my God, LeBron's 40 years old. How can you say that? First off, I believe in LeBron's window. If they get the right matchup, they could beat a team. Last night, Dallas played against Golden State. There was one player in that starting lineup for both teams over 6'7". There's some teams with size issues in the West, but a lot of them have great size. The Thunder have great size. The Nuggets have great size, and they're going to have to beat one of them to get to the conference finals. They might even have to beat both of them, depending on how they do in the second half. Last night in this game, and granted, Jackson Hayes, who is their starter, he got hurt. But Walker Kessler, who was a quality big man, but certainly not an elite big man, he was 8 of 8 shooting. And even before they traded Anthony Davis, this was not a team that defended great in the paint. They were 4th in the league. They had the 4th highest percentage for opponents shooting in the paint. So I'm giving them a free roll this year. If whatever they accomplish, I am not putting any expectations on him. Luka has the ability to lift his team up to be more than it can, and so I will watch him do that. I think the second part of this season is really going to be about figuring out how they got to play with Luka. Because Stephen A., last night as I watched them, I could tell Luka really doesn't feel like it's his team yet. He's taking the ball and he's immediately passing it. He's sort of really sharing the load with Austin Reeves and LeBron. That's not who Luka is. Luka has to be the guy guy who he has the ball and everything operates around him. And that's why LeBron said the other day, fit out, don't fit in. That's a really good advice from him, but that's not what Luka's doing. Luka is fitting in right now. They're going to have to use the second half of the season to convince Luka this is your team. And I believe LeBron can play off of him. I believe in all that. But to me, that's the goal in the second half, not how far they get in the playoffs.
Okay,
Wendy and L, let me jump in here. Wendy and L, I want y'all to listen. I'm going to throw something at you that I don't know if anybody's ever thrown at you when it comes to Luka and the Los Angeles Lakers. I want you to listen carefully to this because remember I said it. You're going to have to hold on to it. I know in Tinseltown, sizzle matters. I would happen to know that I'm here right now. Okay, sizzle matters, all right? When you talk about Luka and the game that he brings to the table, his conditioning is going to be exponentially more important in Los Angeles than even it was in Dallas. Do you know why, L? Do you know why, Wendy? Because here, the show matters. Showtime, when Magic was leading fast breaks in Inglewood all of those years when they were going to championship. When Kobe and Shaq ultimately came to the show matters. Okay, and when you're Luka and you think about the personnel that the Lakers have historically had in its stable, all of them were practically showmen. Even the stoic intellectual that was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. The sky hook was the sky hook. And then Magic comes along, right? And then Worthy. What about when you gave it to him on the base? He had one of the quickest spin moves in NBA history. You had Coop trailing, all right? And on a fast break, you might kick it out to him. And he's hitting the spot from the top of the key all the time. Even a Byron Scott. Remember Norm Nixon before him. Even in the days of Kobe and Shaq. With Robert Horry hitting a game-winning shot in a playoff game against Sacramento, with Derek Fisher saving the day in San Antonio. Everything about the Lakers is a show. So Luka is fitting in right now. But in order to really, really excel as a Laker, he's going to have to get himself in peak condition because just scoring points the way Luka does won't be enough for Laker fans. They want to see a show too. They want to see you pushing the ball. They want to see you skating on cats. They want to see you literally embarrassing cats and stuff like that. In other places, just be effective. Just get it done. In Tinseltown, it's a different, in the purple and gold especially, it's a different animal. And so when I watched him performing last night against Utah and stuff like that, still looks a bit sluggish, obviously, working himself back into shape. But the Dallas Mavericks will tell you he ain't never really been in shape. They're going to look at all of these things. Laker Nation knows about it, and the requirement, like Wendy said, not this year, but beyond, is going to be those ancillary elements that I just brought up, because they care about that in the purple and gold. That's what I want y'all to remember.
I like that. If he gets his conditioning together, he's going to show all of those things.